I'd like to go on to second round of citizens' comments. Anyone didn't get a chance at the beginning, would like to do it now?
Carol Thomas, citizens of Alachua. I wanted to introduce something here.
Can I get you to speak just a little bit closer to that so I can hear you?
Oh, it's feeding back into my ears.
Okay.
I can't hear anything now, but I'll. This is to request that a simple action be taken to direct our attorney to file a common nuisance lawsuit for the annoying noises coming from the GREC biomass plant. Noise pollution leads to chronic and life-threatening conditions, health conditions, and this is a public health threat. And so I'm asking that you do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Test this thing. Is it working? My name is Connie Canny, and I sat here all evening and I haven't heard very much. I mean, I have not been able to hear too many people speaking. Can you hear me now out there?
Yeah.
I mean, is it something that you can manipulate and make it less? It's been very unproductive tonight.
I have tried to get, when I have trouble hearing, I ask them to get closer to their mic. You know, like you, when you get close to the mic, you can really hear it.
I'm about as close as I can get.
Yes.
And I'd really, I know a lot of interesting things have happened tonight, and I've had to strain. I could hear quite a bit, but it just seemed like it didn't function like it does normally, because usually people project a little bit away from it and it works just fine. But that's really all that I had to say, other than thank you all for a really good evening, and I am really kind of proud of the fact that the people who came from Turkey Creek and other places were all so well received, and they all left, I think, feeling pretty pleased that you listened and they can feel that you're concerned. So I'm happy to see that happening, and I'm back. I've been away for a while, but I keep track of what's going on. I've been to Maine, and I've been busy doing lots of other things, so thank you.
Welcome back. Anyone else that didn't get a chance at the beginning? I'd like to go ahead and go on to comments from City Manager.
I don't have any comments.
City Attorney?
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to mention a few things for this commission to take into consideration, because as I listen to the plight of the people in Turkey Creek and the surrounding areas, that were mentioned, Brook Point, Staghorn, Hague, Turkey Creek Forest, Progress Mobile Home Park, filing lawsuits are very serious things. They're very expensive things, and when you say a public nuisance lawsuit, you better have very good expert testimony and expert documentation to back you up. That's the first thing. The second thing is, along with the public nuisance lawsuit, I think what they're talking about would be a goal of enjoining or stopping GREC from moving forward, from going online, from charging things. When you go in for an injunction, in all likelihood, you will have to put up a very large bond, because they will come in and say, you are keeping us from doing these things and we want money. You have to put in money. The standard for getting an injunction is usually, I don't remember it exactly, you either have to have a high probability or a reasonable probability of prevailing on the merits. So it entails a lot of, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. You can guarantee you will get counterclaims. There's issues as to standing, to who can even bring the lawsuits. Should the lawsuits be being brought by the individual? The different types of whose ordinance are being violated, who should be suing, where should they be suing. You can write a textbook, a legal textbook on all the issues that I have pinpointed just from sitting here today. And I believe I read in the newspaper, and I'm not going to swear to this as totally accurate, I think the city of Gainesville spent between $800,000 and $900,000 just on the arbitration that they were not successful in. And arbitration is not full-blown litigation, where you take depositions and you do interrogatories and discovery. You do some limited things, but it's not the same. So I just wanted to give the commission an idea of the types of things that you need to be considering here. One of the suggestions of a workshop, because there's a lot of joint information, might be a very good way of finding out what other resources and information people might have. But I just wanted to let you know that, just going out and filing a lawsuit is not something that's simply done. And there's something that I think you have heard me talk about on many times called 57105, where if you don't have a well-founded lawsuit going in, you can get attorney's fees assessed against the entity and the attorney. I mean, before I'm going to sign my name on something, I'm going to feel very comfortable with what I'm filing, and there's a lot going on here. So I just wanted to make sure that I explain some of these things so you understand when you talk about going out and filing these things and trying to get injunctions, what they entail. The lawsuits that have been filed against the city seeking injunctions were to declare something or to keep the city from enforcing its ordinances. So there wasn't the same monetary component that there would be from GREC saying, we have projections, we would be making this kind of money. You have to post a bond if you want us to keep from being able to do that. Those are just some of the different considerations I would like you to all know about. And again, when you talk about these types of things and public health hazards and all that, there's going to be experts on both sides. You've got to get the experts, you've got to get the empirical data to back up what you're talking about. You can't just go in and file it and then say, oh yeah, and we'll prove it later. Where you're going to have, when the first lawsuit was filed on the first sexually oriented business lawsuit, when we went in and countered them, we had affidavits, we had evidence, we had experts, and we put that together very quickly and went in to do that. And it was the other side seeking the injunction, and we won because we showed that they would not have a substantial likelihood of prevailing on the merits when we went in. But again, I just wanted to explain some of that to you, so as you're considering these things, it is a very difficult situation. We've got a plant that's in a different jurisdiction than our jurisdiction. The noise ordinance has been one that we've had a difficulty with for a long time because we don't have a municipal court system for enforcing it. Code enforcement is for violations, property violations that go back against the piece of property. It's not an overall enforcement mechanism for anything within the city. You can get a lien on the property as a result of your code enforcement. Whether or not there's a violation of a city ordinance, and they could go into the city of Gainesville, for those things, I don't know. But as I said, there are lots and lots and lots of issues here, and as you all know, researching legal issues and trying to come up and no one can guarantee any of those results. It's time, effort, and money. So again, I just wanted to explain some of the mechanics of these lawsuits for you all to be able to keep those in the back of your mind as you're considering things.
Commissioner Bakari?
Madam Attorney, thank you for that information. It's always nice to get a lesson because you go out there and talk to people and they say, you should do this, you should do that, and it sounds easy, but it oftentimes can be very complicated and not so easy and not so cheap. I want to congratulate our city manager and our staff. Another fiscal year out of the way, another good budget coming with not increases, but maintaining things and as far as our ad valorem goes. And it's been a good year, but there's always challenges, and that's why we're in this government, to get this stuff done, do it the right way. I appreciate all the citizens that came out tonight because it was a lively discussion about many issues, and it's tiring, but it's what we're here for. So thanks, everybody, and that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate Attorney Rush explaining those things, and that's why I didn't want to have my motion amended, because I just, it was long, Mayor. It was simple and just stated the things we can do.
It was
I
the
think, right.
longest I've ever heard.
How long? But it was all the people told me it was very well written.
It was good, though. I liked it.
But I just I think that's why we need to go on record to start that and everything. So I do appreciate it, because I have been watching the Gainesville City Commission meetings very regularly and the County Commission meetings, and it was over $900,000, by the way, is what they settled with the law firm. And but I will say, at the meeting, Mayor Brady did state that they have a noise ordinance and that they can go to GREC and cite them several times, and they can start fining them for those things. So that's why my letter was addressing to the City Commission, and then with copies to all those other people. So that's why I did that. So yeah, I do appreciate all the citizens came out tonight. And in my prayer, I'm glad people listen. I mentioned the civility thing first. This was a dynamic meeting, a lot of good input, and I think the civility was very, very well done. And I certainly appreciate citizens and members on the dais for observing that. So thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Vice Mayor?
No comment.
And I have no comment either.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion on the floor to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Come on, give me